There is a lot of noise that growing up nowadays is harder than it has ever been before. It feels like good jobs with well paid incomes are unavailable, housing is unaffordable, finding a romantic, intimate partner seems nigh on impossible for a lot of young people out there. There's 100% truth in a lot of these things, a lot of things that people say nowadays, that times have very much changed, and in a lot of ways they are harder than they have ever been before. For young people to navigate life, to build a successful life to the status quo, does seem a lot more challenging than it has been before. But with this mindset, we gain nothing whatsoever. It's a net zero gain for us to have this mindset. And I think the key message that I want to give you in this video is being adaptable, having adaptability in your mindset, and being able to kind of, from a locational point of view, having that adaptability to be able to work and live wherever you want, having that freedom in your life is very important. And we are seeing things are progressing faster than ever before, especially with the rise of AI, which has been heavily spoke about wherever you kind of look in the news, whenever you click on videos, everyone's talking about it nowadays. And you have to accept this is going to be a major part of our life growing up. It already is impacting what we are doing right now, even watching this video, me recording this video, putting it out on YouTube. AI is having a lot of implications whether we realize it or not. And that is the way it's almost definitely going to be in the next coming up decades, and very much the way we're going to move forward. And we have to look at this in a positive way, because everyone wants to pick out the negatives. It's very easy to pick out the negatives and say, like I mentioned, jobs seem very much unavailable that are desirable. Housing's become unaffordable for young people. They're not in relationships, they're not having children, they're not living the same lifestyle as our parents once were. But you have to remember that our parents wouldn't have lived the same lifestyle as their parents would have been able to. And this is kind of evolution as a whole. It's always going to be that way, that things are going to change over the time, and the lifestyle that you saw desirable, your parents saw desirable, your grandparents saw desirable, are going to be completely different things. The lifestyle that your children, that hopefully you will have one day, is going to be very different to yours, and what you think now, they're going to think very differently. And it sounds very simple, but a lot of people seem to be missing this, and they keep going back, well, my parents in 1960, they bought a house for £4,000 and now it's worth $500,000. Like, I can't do that. Well, yeah, but if you bought a house now, it's probably going to be worth, a lot. It's obviously going to be worth a lot more. It could be worth 300% more than it is now. And also, times are changing. People are living conditions are a lot different. People are renting, people are living at home a lot longer, and that's not just because of financial implications. The world has very much changed in terms of what people want exactly. And like I say, we need to talk about the positives here, because we have more freedom than we have ever had before. We have the ability to move around as much as we possibly can with our work. We could create our own business online, that we could work from anywhere in the world and any time, and have complete geographical time, financial freedom over our lives, which pretty much you go back 20 years ago. Most people never saw that, were never given that opportunity to make that a reality. And that's something that you have by having an internet connection, having a laptop, having a phone, all these types of things. It is possible. And yes, like I've said before, this isn't going to be possible for every single person out there, but it's definitely possible for you. And things that you need to consider this, that, you have a choice here. Every single thing you do in your life is going to, compound and make a huge difference to where you end up overall. And little things like this, you have to think, okay, well, where am I heading with the way I'm living my life? And a lot of people will tend to, follow trends. Where are the trends? And let's go for them, because that's what's popular. That's what's making money. Is it crypto? Is it drop shipping? Is it content creation? Is it whatever, X, Y, Z? There's a lot of options, and people go very flippy floppy, especially when it comes to kind of business and career choices. And like I say, I think it's very important that you understand times are changing and keeping up with them to a certain extent, and kind of being ahead of the curve in a lot of ways as much as you possibly can is going to be very important for you, and achieving a certain amount of holistic success, especially when it comes to setting up a decent amount of financial success. That's going to be very important, that you understand the way the world is working, especially with new technology, with AI. If you can jump on those types of trends, that can make you a lot of money going forward. And I believe there is a lot more opportunities than ever before when it comes to where you could work in the world. Like I said, you could be anywhere in the world. You can move to a different country, work in a different job. You just kind of have to open up your eyes and think, you change your mindset from being a negative to a positive. And this is basically just saying, well, the world is shit, all these things harder than ever before. But if you have that kind of closed mindset of thinking that everything is worse and harder than ever before, well, guess what? That's what your reality is gonna, that's gonna be the mirror of your reality, because that's your internal dialogue kind of just manifesting that into your external world. And that is how you're gonna see the world. Whereas if someone's like, what? Yeah, things are different, let's reframe it. Things are different. They're not, there may be challenges in other ways, but there's a lot more opportunities. I have freedom. I can work in a different country. I could work from my laptop and make money. I don't have to get married at a certain age. I don't have to, have kids at a certain age. I can kind of do what I want. And this can be extremely liberating if I say this it's very important that you understand that you use this wisely and think, okay, how can I use this to my advantage in achieving, long-term goals, and not thinking it from a negative view and being like, okay, well, I don't really know how to use this. Because if there's kind of no roadmap of, where you're heading, where you want to be, and again, like I've said in many of my videos, this is going to change and you're going to update this over time, then you're not going to be really heading anywhere. And you kind of just like, you're just like a plastic bag, kind of just drifting through the world with no kind of destination. You're getting in a taxi and telling the driver, I don't know, just take me anywhere. And the world is dictating that for you. And, like I say, you're seeing opportunities more than ever before. Like I saw a scheme a few weeks ago. It's like you could literally become a fully qualified pilot without having to pay over £100,000 in training, which for most people, like your parents' generation, like this was never an opportunity that they would have had presented to them in the world. And, there are companies offering that. And there's a lot more. If you just put yourself out there, you look around, you see opportunity. If you program your mind for opportunities, that's what you're going to see. If you're programming your mind for, doom and gloom and, there's a scarcity of everything in the world, you're going to see that is going to be presented to you in your manifestation. And this is very important, because that's nearly everything in your reality is starting from your mind, and the way you kind of perceive your reality. You are going to see that in the external world. So like I said, from at the start of this video, it's having that adaptability to be like, okay, this world is changing. I really don't know. We've had very uncertain times over the last 5-10 years. Pretty much ever since COVID, the world has completely changed. And I think it's one of those, I've spoken to a lot of people recently, it's one of those situations where you're not seeing it day to day. You're not being like, you wake up one day and things click. It's almost definitely never the case in anything in your life where things just click and things change forever. It's going to be kind of a slow build up, and especially you will see it with AI and the types of jobs that are available to you. That's something that's going to massively change. You're not going to work the same kind of 9-to-5 jobs that are really very much dwindling nowadays, because companies are realizing a lot of people are going to be replaced, and they're going to need different types of roles to be able to manage AI, and that is going to drastically change your future, maybe the industry you're in. Almost definitely it's changing pretty much every industry that is out there in the kind of modern world. And yeah, it's something that you're gonna have to see over time. You will look back and think, okay, wow, this is really staggering how much my life, my career, everything around me has changed. But it's something that slowly creeps upon you, and it will come. You might not see it now, but when you kind of have those moments where you look back and think, my life, the world around me was so much different 5-10 years ago, that is going to be the case in a few years. And yeah, it should excite you in a way if you can use things to your advantage. It's pretty much the case with social media. Like, how many people use it to their advantage? Probably less than 1%, really. Probably less than like 0.1% people use it to their advantage, because it is a tool. But using it to your advantage is the key thing, and everything can be, especially with technology. You can use it very well. It can make you a lot of money. It can make you, your life a lot easier, which, people want that, don't they? But you have to use it right, and you have to be aware of everything you're doing and staying with, the way the world is going. And I think that's very important, that you have that adaptability to be like a chameleon in different circumstances and realize, what's happening right now might not be forever. So you don't want to, so to say, cash your chips in a certain kind of maybe field, or, especially geographically. I think the ability to be able to, move around and be in different countries at different points of the year throughout your life, that's going to be something that's going to be huge for our generation. People aren't going to just stay in, their local town for 40 years, get a mortgage, have kids and do all of this stuff. There's nothing wrong at all with doing that, but I see the way people want to live and how things are advancing, that there's going to be so many more opportunities to have that adaptability to be able to live wherever you want and have complete freedom over your life, which, for me and you is probably very exciting. It's something that excites me. It's the way I kind of see my life, heading, having that adaptability. It's something I want. It's something you should relish too. And yeah, that's the overall arching message, to have that adaptability and think, okay, let's try and stay with the times in a certain way and keep up with what's going on, because so much has changed when you actually kind of think about where we were before COVID and all of this stuff to where we are now. And you'll look back maybe in 5 years from this video and think, okay, we've changed so much. Maybe some of the stuff I say will be right, maybe some of it will be wrong, who knows? But I think being ahead of the curve, it's very important, and it's gonna, can make you very successful over the time. So I wish you all the best, and hopefully this video has been insightful for you to be like, okay, I do feel doom and gloom. We all do. It's part of human nature to look at the negatives. It's a protection barrier to keep us alive and think, okay, what's the worst case scenario? And, we naturally all kind of lean on the negatives. It's how we are kind of built as human beings, but we have to reframe this, and it does take a lot of time to rewire your brain to be this type of person. But it is possible with a lot of kind of mental kind of, introspective work that you can do on yourself, and that is 100% possible, and it will take time, but you will eventually get there, and it will make your external world a completely different place, and hopefully one that is very positive and very fulfilling and offers you a lot of hope, which is something that a lot of young people very much are struggling with. It's extremely obvious, and I don't want to see that. I want to see you succeed, and stuff like this is not spoken enough about, especially between young people. I want to see you succeed. If you need any more guidance on your mindset and how to kind of reach this and how to kind of stay positive and keep that adaptability in your kind of day-to-day life and going forward, my one-to-one personal coaching link will be below. I only charge like $10 or so for a half an hour session. So yeah, check that out. Hopefully this will help you a lot. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video now. Take care.